Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I figured I'd do a therapy session this morning. Try to let the brain do what it does. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. Hopefully you can hear me very well. I don't see why you wouldn't, but I can barely hear myself. I think that's what it is. Got rain going on outside. It's a nice rainy 5 a.m. morning on a Tuesday. And yeah, everything's fine. I haven't heard anything that would otherwise make me want to talk about anything negative. Uh, not this morning anyway. Luckily enough. Same old story with the Kyrie Irving situation and the movie and all that, and nothing's changed there. If you've seen the movie, then you already know that the conversation is on the verge of shifting from Kyrie Irving's a bad guy to is there any truth to this? So I'm just waiting for that to come around. We're not quite there yet for some reason. I don't think people have seen the movie. They're still listening to people telling them not to see the movie and then proceeding to tell people how bad the movie, how offensive the movie is. Which is something that I just think is it's a learned behavior that was taught to our people. Not black people, but all people. Everybody underneath this umbrella has been taught to trust the voice that's giving you the information, that's telling you that guy's bad and what he did was bad and you should not do it either. But I just don't know if that formula works on enough people anymore. That's just what it comes down to. So, yeah. Another thing that has nothing to do with that, I just figured I'd add into this video. I may have mentioned this before, I'm not sure. But I'm not sure how to view some of the media head leader guys. And what I mean by head leader guys is like Adam 22's, academics, DJ Vlad, College Kid, all of the media outlets, the ones that give you the news straight flat like that. Sometimes it's questionable in regards to the respect, I guess, in delivering sometimes the news, depending on the outlet, depending on who the person is and how it's being released. When a person passes away, there's usually a lot of question marks around how they're releasing the information or what it is that they're doing. And I've always said that I'm on the opposite side of the conversation as it pertains to the media guys posting people who pass away. I do believe that it would be nice, very nice, if the regulators could somehow make it so that family must be notified before information is released from all major platforms. And I think that can be done because I saw exactly how they can synchronize all major platforms when they were blasting Kanye West's name on all of those platforms simultaneously 2 weeks ago. That helped me understand that when they want something released at once throughout all platforms, or when they want to shut something down and have nobody play something, that's possible. If they want no one to speak on something, then just like they were able to reach you all with Kanye's smear campaign, they should be able to simultaneously silence whatever it is that they don't want out. So that's how I look at that. It's a choice, and with celebrities, I think it's a bad culture that we exploit them all the way through life. We exploit their talent. We make them rich. We prop them up and make them spectacles. They shine, and when they die, that's like another part of the story. We could totally run through that. If they were murdered, we can figure out who killed them. We could do the whole put them in the stadium thing when they die, you know what I mean, and do the whole do it big, and then put them in the ground, and then send somebody else out here to celebritize and be exploited, and et cetera, et cetera. It's just a rinse and repeat cycle thing. And I look at the media guys and I just say, it's almost like they're a soulless entity, if I'm being completely honest with you. Soulless. Like, they will give you the news and they serve the people. And the people want the news fast and they give it to you. So as it pertains to the conversation of why post relevant information on a guy who just passed away, that's the part of the conversation that I'm on the media side with. I don't see any problem with that. I listen to Vlad talk about it. I've listened to Adam 22 sit down and talk with Joe Budden about it, and I listen to Joe's point of view, and I just don't think it aligns with what is realistic in regards to what it is their job is and what it is they're responsible for and who it is that their audience is. If their audience is somebody who is compassionate, who wants respect for the dead, who wants the celebrities to be, given peace and quiet and privacy. If that was the audience, then they wouldn't give them they wouldn't give them this. The audience is that of the soulless individual in their apartment who could care less about anything other than himself, who's looking at all the celebrities on television and on his phone, and is interested in knowing what happened, how it happened, and everything they could find on the person upon their passing. You know what I'm saying? That's who they're catering to. Not the compassionate church-going grandma. No. That's not who they market to. That's not who's clicking on their site, and that's not who's holding them accountable for doing things correctly. And that's the point. That's the point. When I look at a guy like Adam 22, I'm asking him, who's the guy saying you better get it right? Who's the person holding them accountable? And holding them accountable is not what, in most cases, it would otherwise mean. Because holding someone accountable is, no matter what his people want, you had better do the right thing. But in this case, no, it's about the people telling him, give us what we want. And so I look at Joe Budden and I say, your people and Adam's people are two different people. You're marketing to two different people. And so if I'm marketing to Joe's fan base or his people, so to speak, I'm going to have a bit more compassion about how people pass away. I'm going to talk about it a certain way. We're going to play outstanding at the end of it. You know what I mean? Because that's how Joe's handles bad news on his podcast. He plays Outstanding by the Gap Band. Like, that's just a whole vibe that certain people go to for that particular energy. But if they go into Adam 22, they ain't going there for that. If they go to Say Cheese, they ain't going there for that. If they go to Truth Teller, they ain't going there for that. If they go to King AK-47, they ain't going there for that. They want the news. Now, while I look at guys like King AK-47 and Truth Teller is a bit different because they navigate the streets a bit different to where within who it is that's holding them accountable, they had better handle it a certain way. See, that's why they separate from guys like Vlad and academics, because they have to maneuver the politics of their environment. And in doing so, the people they market to demand a certain respect that maybe isn't demanded from those who hold Ak and Vlad and all those guys accountable from within their fan bases. So for me, it's like, if you want these outlets to change, the only thing that's really going to change these outlets are the people who watch them. If you want academics to change the way he does things, you would first need to talk to his chat ends and convince their minds to want different things, and he'll adjust to that. Same thing with No Jumper, same thing with all these guys. So that's how I look at it. If they start doing things the way I want them to do things, then they're going to be marketing toward me, and I'm not watching. They're going to lose everybody they have, and it ain't going to work. See what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I don't hold those guys accountable because I know who they're talking to, and it ain't the people I'm talking to, so to speak. With that being said, there's still consequences for releasing things a certain way. And I think those guys should all keep high security 24/7 like they're the president. Because you're toying with people's pain when you release information of any kind. It's always somebody who's going to be hurt by it, no matter what the story is, somehow, some way. So I think when you're releasing information on people who just passed away, and you're releasing all the stuff that goes along with it, there's consequences. Simple and plain. I don't know that all the outlets have really run into those consequences. I think they've done a good job of navigating away from those consequences. And it probably cost them a lot of money to secure against them. But, I just wanted to kind of put my opinion out there because I think there's a balance to be had. At the same time, if something happened to me and I made it, and my family gets that information from TMZ or Vlad or something like that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be offensive, to the say the least, and hurtful and all that. But that's what you give up when you turn on the camera and decide that you want to be a celebrity. That's what you give up when you sign a contract and decide to take their money, so to speak, from behind the curtain. That's what happens. You now sign up to have certain things given away. That's what they pay for. They pay for the ability to remove your privacy from you and exploit what it is that you are. And if that's what you want, then that's what you sign up for. You know what I mean? That's the part of this conversation that needs to be understood. A lot of the people who are in positions to complain about how their likenesses are being used, they sign things that allow people to use their likeness in this way. We don't see those contracts, but they're benefiting from those contracts because they're rich as hell, and that is why. And I think that is the part that we need to understand. The same goes for guys who are not speaking out against certain topics, certain points of view, certain social issues, or speaking for social point of views that may not necessarily seem like they would be coming out of their mouths. That's because they're paid to do so. Contracts make it so that you have to uphold what it is that you're supposed to uphold from within their guidelines. And if that means, we're talking about this social issue today, then you better have a opinion that doesn't go disrespect to what it is that our point of view. You know what I mean? Your opinion had better make sense to us. And so we're just seeing a lot of that going on, and that's the other side of a Vlad or academics or what have you. You do wonder how controlled are they, especially when it comes to certain topics and certain people being marketed to. Obviously, you would imagine the authorities and the government would want to use these outlets to try to reach people, get contact of information, get contact of people, and all these different things. And it just becomes a very slippery slope when these two worlds that these outlets try to combine, which are the internet and the streets, when those two worlds combine, the rubber meets the road, as I often say. Certain hypocrisies just cannot exist. You can't both say that you want privacy and then proceed to, put yourself in a position to have all types of attention put on you. You know what I mean? That's what the celebrities' whole lives are about. It's about putting attention on you. So, exploiting what it is that you do, showing the world that you are extraordinary and should be exalted. So with that comes certain things. With that comes the other side of it. If people see your whole life, then they probably are going to want to see the end of it too. And we're conditioned to want that, which is also part of the evil of it. So, it's not the guys who are behind the scenes that are keeping all this going, in my opinion. It's the compliance parties. It's the parties that are cool with it. It's the people that sign the contracts and stay quiet and stay scared when it's time to speak up. The guys who won't fall on the sword of their guilt and allow them to have them bite the balls. In my opinion, those are the guys who keep it going, and the tradition works because of it. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. It only works because of compliance, and so people have to stop being compliant so they can switch it up and make it make sense. And as far as the outlet's concerned, just to double back to what I'm talking about, they're gonna adjust. Once we adjust, they'll adjust. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't look at Vlad as an entity that's supposed to have a heart. I don't look at academics as an entity that's supposed to have a heart. Academics is growing as a person in that regard, because I think he's been around people who have held him accountable as a black man, in my humble opinion. That's what I think has happened there. Because of his connection to the community based on his skin color, I do believe he's had certain conversations that maybe Vlad and maybe the guys from No Jumper might not have had with Adam. Because it's just not as relevant for a lot of people when you consider their point of view in regards to their specific group. So for example, if you're a black person and you're exploiting black people, or you're doing things that lead to black people exploiting themselves or ending up in jail or whatever, it's an outlet who represents the culture from a standpoint, which really does hold weight for some reason. It's going to be one of those things where black people are going to be like, all right, you got to do different. We expect culture vulture energy from those guys, but from you, we want to see you do better. We want to see you respect our lives. We want to see you cover us different, etc., etc. So I think that's what's kind of going on there. I don't think that Vlad and Adam have been welcomed in a way that holds them accountable in that way. You know what I mean? And if they have, then they probably, you know what I mean, just have their own point of view. They got their own groups that they're part of, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like they're not upholding their own respect. And I think that's the disconnect in a way. I think they admire our culture, and I think they are presenting to us their perception of said culture, but there's a lacking of certain aspects and fullness to what it is that we're about that they're just not going to inherently have because they're not a part of the culture with respect. They've entered the culture and they have gotten incorporated into that culture, and I think they've been welcomed to a degree because a lot of people just don't have a problem at all with what they do. But there is a disconnect because when I listen to them talk about black people, there's a finite understanding about what it is we're about. There's a finite understanding that certain stereotypes are just to be understood and true, as to where when you're inside of the skin, so to speak, you're not afforded that truth. I think that's the difference. I do believe that's the difference. Because when I listen to Vlad and I listen to Adam, I don't think they perceive themselves to be devious bad guys, right? If they're bad guys, they don't appear to know it. It's that kind of thing. And when I see them talk to people that they genuinely respect, people that genuinely respect them, I get the vibes that those people like them. Like when I listen to Vlad talk, I think Vlad gets along with people that get along with Vlad. I think the problem is that Vlad fundamentally has no problem watching black people and put themselves in positions to incarcerate themselves on his platform. And I think that black people want him to care about that in a way that he's just not going to. You know what I mean? It's just not in his heart. And Adam has a different type of psychology, man. Adam's a totally different guy. Adam's somebody that I wonder if he is fully protectant of himself. I think Adam is a thrill seeker. I think Adam is one of those daredevil kind of guys, and I think his choice of daredevil is being around the culture and doing it this way. I think this is how he wants to do it, and if it leads to his end, I think he's perfectly fine with that. That's what I take from Adam. I think Adam's unique, man. Adam's unique, and because of it, he kind of toys with certain things, and he puts certain people together that creates dangerous situations, and I think it's done on purpose. I really do. I really believe that. And I think it's all going to crash one day, and I hope I'm wrong. But guys like AD and those guys, I just hope that they're able to get their bag, get their fame, and then move on. Because that dude, Adam, I worry that who's ever next to him when it crashes is going to crash along with him. He just don't seem to protect himself in a way that I think would be necessary for the type of stuff that he plays around with. I really believe that. He toys with forces that maybe he understands, maybe he doesn't, but are definitely dangerous forces to be toying with in the way that he does. So I don't look at him and Vlad the same way. I don't think Vlad plays like that. I think Vlad is intent on staying alive while doing this. That's my God's honest opinion. And I've thought that about Adam for a while, man. But, it's one of those things where it's like, he's given a lot of opportunities to people who would not otherwise get opportunities. That's why I'm not mad at Adam at all. It's like, because he's fearless and is daredevil and stuff like this, now you got people who really are going to get a chance on the internet that just simply aren't going to be given those chances for the same reasons. People are scared to put them on. People are scared to give them those opportunities. People are scared to, you know what I'm saying? So I look at Adam and I say he's done a lot for helping people get to where they want to go in our community. Now, is he actually helping them to good places? I'm not the judge. But what I'm saying is they need to step up, and he provided the step. And I think that's what they like. I think people appreciate that. So that's where I say with Adam. But it's just like anything else. When you reveal the news in a heartless, kind of insensitive, indifferent is the word, indifferent kind of way, it's going to be people whose feelings are going to be attached to that. It's going to be people who are going to uphold the honor of those people whose feelings are attached to that. And it's just a matter of time for people see the wrong thing and start getting upset, in my opinion. That's why I think it's important for guys like Adam, Vlad, and all of those guys to listen to the compassionate seekers. Listen to the people who say, hey, give it a couple seconds, or call the family before you release this, or talk to the proper people to make sure something's true. All of those things just make for better quality product. let alone some better safety, whatever. It just makes for a better quality product. I think people are exiting an era where they want clickbait. I think a lot of us are still drawn to clickbait, but I think by the time we realize it's clickbait, we're rolling our eyes, and I think that has a clock attached to it. I think that we're getting tired of that, so on and so forth. It's just a lot of stuff in regards to the media, social media, internet news, celebrity gossip stuff that I think just going to continue to evolve. It's still fairly new industry, and I think that guys, as they continue to interact with the public, interact with the subjects, the artists, they'll learn how best to evolve together and kind of give people stuff that they can palate in a way that they can respect. You know what I mean? As opposed to just having being soulless in your way of doing it. So that's what I gotta say, man. I don't think those guys are bad guys. I just think that they have to be guided toward what the people respect. And if their people happen not to respect high moral stuff, then they're going to give you the lowest frequency stuff possible, and you're going to sit there and enjoy it. Because their whole point is to keep the numbers high and to give people what they want. And it's up to the people to want better things. I can't stress that enough. We just got to be of better wants. And I've been saying that for a little while now, but that's ultimately what it comes down to. And once we start leading the way on what is responsible, they will follow. They will follow. And if we go off the ends of the earth into a cliff and we start doing the worst things in the world, you know what they're going to do? They're going to follow. That's the scary part. If we turn into a world where it's Gladiator 2022 all over again and we're just doing the worst of things like it's the barbarian days, guess what? Those guys are going to accept that and be soulless about it. That's what scares me about those particular entities. I don't think they care one bit. Kill him, ha, it's fun, ha, look at him die, cut his head off. Like, I think academics and they're really like that. But as long as we keep the parameters where they need to be, as long as we stay sane, they will provide a level that we can palate. But if we go into the deep end and take this thing all the way to hell, believe me, they will be live from hell with the chat ends telling y'all what's going on down there. Because that's just how this goes. So, yeah. All of that being said, if you're a spiritual person, guard your thoughts. That's the whole point. These outlets are controlled. These entities tend to be soulless. The people who want these things don't happen to have their best interest at heart sometimes, and they know that, and they exploit it. But nevertheless, that's the world they're in, and that's the point. I don't think any of these guys reinvented the wheel. I don't think any of these guys came up with these formulas. They just happen to work, so they apply them. And that's why we're in a space in the world where I think we need to look at all of our norms and say, yo, people have been doing that. Didn't mean that it was the right thing to do. It just worked, so they kept doing it. And we need to realize that some of that stuff should have never been done. It shouldn't have worked. And we need to re-examine all of it. That's how I really feel about most of this stuff. So that's what I want to say, man. That's my therapy session. That's it, man. I'm waiting on groceries to arrive at my apartment, and I'll cook breakfast then and enjoy my day. But I just want to get up here and just kind of shoot the talk with you guys, and encourage everybody to just filter what it is that they see. Definitely filter what it is that your children see, and understand, if we take this thing to heaven, and a guy like academics will be the nicest guy in the world sitting at heaven's gates telling us who's coming in. You know, these people, they're going to give you what you want them to give you. And if your soul's in the right place, their soul's going to be in the right place. If your soul's in the bottom of the depths, they're going to show you what's down there. No questions asked, and they won't feel a thing. My name is BDF 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.